for a rejection of the Maharashtra mandate, the numbers showing a sweep for the Mahayuti, and it seems that Sanjay Raut is now laying the groundwork to say that no, we do not accept this, which is of course a very slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard Sanjay Raut and I'm somewhat disappointed. Yes, I know that many political observers in Maharashtra would be very surprised, shocked at these kinds of results. But Dr. Roy is sitting here. Haven't we seen this kind of a shock over the years, over the decades? Elections the outcome of elections, especially in terms of seats, tends to shock people. That in fact almost is the point of elections. So just because we are shocked, it doesn't mean that there's something abnormal, that EVMs have gone wrong. I guess these are precisely the kind of machines that were used in Maharashtra 5-6 months ago. Anyone would point out and say, well, you managed to win 33 seats out of 40, about 30 seats out of 48. So I would begin, I mean, in the analysis for the time being, let's simply assume that it's not EVM, that it is politics. In the Lok Sabha election, just to resume where we left the question last time, in the Lok Sabha election, MVA, which is the India Alliance, had a big victory. However, the margin in terms of votes was tiny, less than 1%. I guess BJP analyzed the situation and they had a strategy, they had a game plan. The game plan had 2 or 3 components. One component was to open the treasury and throw money, which they did in ample measure. They, I guess, spent about 1 lakh crore rupees over and above whatever they had budgeted from the state treasury, specifically again to women. That's a huge thing. 7,500 rupees per woman to 2.3 crore women is not a small thing. That's one part of the strategy. I'm told in the last 2 months, the government passed 105 orders per day. They call it GR in Maharashtra, which is absolutely unprecedented. That's part one. The second part of the strategy was social strategy, which is to pit OBC against Marathas, because they knew they were not going to do very well among Marathas, and to use the sub-quota issue among Dalits to enhance their vote share among the lower, that is to say, the most disadvantaged Dalits. Although the population of Dalits is not as large in Maharashtra as it is in many other states. And the upper Dalit, which is to say Buddhist or Mahar Dalits, are large in population. However, there was a small traction to be gained there. BJP worked on that. Part 3 of the strategy was to turn this election into hundreds of micro contests, put independent candidates, prop up some, some parties, so that the votes are fragmented. BJP knew that they have one chunk of solid votes. If votes are fragmented all over, BJP would have a structural advantage. That was part 3 of the game. And then 4 is, of course, the classic BJP thing of wanting to create communal division, batenge, katenge, and those kind of things. And on top of these 4 is BJP's structural advantage of a party which knows how to contest elections as elections, micromanagement, strategy, game plan, and so on. From the results, it looks that most of the things BJP tried have succeeded. That is what has given them such a big success. If they had a very marginal success, we would have said, well, maybe 1 or 2 of these things worked. It seems this is one of those cases where many of these things work. I'm not still sure if Batenge, Katenge and the communal appeal was the decisive thing, although that may be talked about a lot. But I guess other things did work for the BJP. And in contrast, the opposition, that is to say, India Alliance, did not have a game plan. They needed to keep the focus on the fraudulent manner in which this government was formed. They could not do that. They needed a large narrative of why is it that people should vote them in a bigger way than they did in the Lok Sabha election. They did not have that. They needed to have a face to counter the fact that Mahayuti was not projecting BJP or Shinde as a face. They could not project a face. So all in all, that appears to have worked, although we need to watch a little closer. We need to see the regional equation a little closer. But with this kind of a massive victory, I guess everything gets evened out.
Something that we were discussing while you were away, Yogendra, is the two very different trends in both these elections. In Maharashtra, the impetus and the lead is being taken by a national party. The BJP is leading in 120, while the Shiv Sena is in 55. So the main force has been the BJP. But in Jharkhand, the JMM is the main force. They are leading in 32. They're up 18. And the Congress is down 3. They're only leading in 12, down 3 since last time. In fact, even in Maharashtra, Congress is badly down. So this has been a... First of all, one is the Jharkhand is a more regional force, and Lok Sabha in Maharashtra it's a national force. But overall, it's a bad news for the Congress more than anybody else.
Indeed, it is. There's no way of avoiding this conclusion. Maharashtra is an election that India coalition should have won. Jharkhand is an election they could possibly have won. But here we are saying Jharkhand is the one that they are winning. They may end up winning. We don't quite know yet. But Maharashtra is one they are doing badly. And clearly, Congress is dragging in both the states. In Jharkhand, it's clearly a drag on the coalition.
So
If Congress arguably had lesser number of seats, the alliance may have done even better. Why is that the case? To my mind, it is the inability of Congress to get its act together. It's mostly, except Karnataka 23 looked like an election which Congress leaders were fighting like there was no tomorrow. They were putting everything together. But that was one of those absolute rare instances where you found the Congress as an organization fighting it together. The instructions from the top were very clear. If you mess around, you're out. You don't get that kind of a situation in Haryana. In Lok Sabha election, in many places, you had that kind of sense. Ki is baar nahi to bas ab to gaye, khatam ho jayenge. You don't get that kind of sense from Congress leaders at the local level, from Congress leaders at the central level. And in the last instance, Congress central leadership must take the responsibility.